What's up, you YouTubers? This is Harpie 89, and the voices in my head coming at you from the Duelist Den. And today I've got my pure Harpie deck profile. So hit that intro. The first card in the deck is Harpie Dancer. I run 3 copies of Harpie Dancer. This card works really great with the field spell because you can get multiple back row destructions off of this card just because it allows you to get an additional normal summon out during your turn. Next up, I run 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1. Harpie Lady 1 is, in my opinion, more important than Cyber Harpie Lady, or a better choice, I should say, because Cyber Harpie Lady doesn't really push your deck forward or help it out in any way. But Harpie Lady 1 gives all of your main deck monsters a 300 attack boost, so it's really the better option if you decide to run Harpies. After that, we run 3 copies of Harpie Channeler. Harpie Channeler is your go-to card to start with. If you have Harpie Channeler in your hand, summon it to the field, right then and there, first turn. But Channeler lets you special summon any Harpie monster from your deck to the field in face-up defense position, except, of course, another copy of Harpie Channeler. But anyway, if you control a dragon-type monster, got a little tongue-tied there, Harpie Channeler's level becomes 7. So it allows you to go into either really quick rank 4 plays or really quick rank 7 plays as well. Following that, we have 3 copies of Harpie Harpist. Harpie Harpist is known primarily for its secondary ability, which lets you add a level 4 Wing Beast type monster with 15 or less attack from your deck to your hand during the end phase of the turn it was sent to the graveyard. But it does have another effect as well. And that's when it is normal summoned, you enter a Wing Beast type monster you control other than this card, and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and return them to the hand. So it does have a compulsory evacuation type effect that is very, very handy for the deck. For the last of the Harpie Ladies, I run 3 Harpie Queens. This is your field spell searcher. You really, really need to run 3 copies of this in your deck because you always want to make sure you have that field spell available to you if you need it. Next up is 3 Harpie's Pet Dragons. Now, Harpie's Pet Dragon is usually used in conjunction with Harpie Channeler to go into your rank 7 place, but it is a very powerful monster by itself as well, which is why I run 2 of it. And a lot of people usually, if they make a Harpie build, only run 1 Pet Dragon, but I feel 2 is actually just the more stable option because their ideology for running only 1 is you don't want to draw into opening hand. Okay, that's all well and fine, but what if you do draw in your opening hand anyway? Oh, and they say that's never gonna happen. Bullshit. It can happen, you know. But anyway, running 2, you know, is really the better option in my opinion because 3, you know, too much chance of drawing into your opening hand. 1, too much chance of if you open it, then you're just screwed. So 2 is a balanced option if you're gonna run it. After that, I run 2 copies of, and I know I'm going to say this name wrong, Miramene the True Draco Phoenix. This is the Draco Phoenix that lets you banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck, as long as you summoned it by tributing or by destroying 2 wind monsters. So this is a really great tech option for this deck. I really like it. I'm really happy I got this card. Starting off these spells, we of course have the 2 Dark Holes and the 1 Regeki because, you know, why would you not run fucking field destructions in your deck? I mean, come on, people. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Following that, I've got 3 copies of Forbidden Dress. Forbidden Dress is in here primarily to protect Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. That's really the only reason I have it in this deck. Because field wipes are a big thing. I mean, we don't just have Dark Holes and Regekis now. We have cards like, Torrential Tribute. We have the True Dracos that can destroy shit. We've got, you know, True King, or Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, you know. And honestly, you know, I would rather my Phantasmal Dragon, you know, just stay on the field, to be honest with you. For draw engines, I run a 1 Day of Peace and an Upstart Goblin, pretty staple right there. I also run 1 copy of Elegant Egotist, which lets me special summon a Harpie Lady to my field as long as I control a Harpie Lady. Now, I only run 1 copy of this because of this next card, Hysteric Sign, which lets you search out your Egotist and either, whether it's in your deck or graveyard, it doesn't matter, it lets you add it to your hand. Furthermore, during the end phase, if this card was destroyed, then you can add 3 Harpie cards with different names from your deck to your hand. So this is just a really, really great spell card. It is the best spell card in the deck outside, Regeki. But, that's Regeki. It doesn't count. For the last spell in the deck, we run 3 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground. Now, the Harpie's Hunting Ground is very, very important for the deck because right now we are in sort of a back row heavy format. You have, for example, the True Kings, who use a fuck ton of goddamn back row. I mean, damn. But anyway, getting rid of that back row is very, very important. I think now more so than ever. And Harpie's Hunting Ground allows you to do that extremely easily. So if you have it in your hand, you definitely want to make sure you're using it. For the traps, I run 3 copies of Featherstorm. I really, really love this card. This card saves me from fucking True King of all calamities for days. I mean, seriously, it does. It's just an amazing card. It's an effect negation, and if it's destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can search out for Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard and add it to your hand, which really isn't, relevant because Feather Duster is banned in any major format. But if you're playing, traditional, I mean, I guess it would be good. The last card in the main deck is, of course, Hysteric Party. This is the mass Call of the Haunted of the deck, as it lets you special summon as many copies of Harpie Lady from your graveyard as possible. Now, the downside is that if this card is destroyed, those monsters are also destroyed. So if this does not instantly get Twin Twisted or something, God forbid, then you really want to use those monsters that you just summoned out to go into your Xyz place right then and there. For the extra deck, I, of course, run 1 F-Zero Utopic Future. Why? Because, I'm an asshole and giving my opponents hard times. After that, I run 1 Raid Raptor Rise Falcon. I mean, why would you not run this card? It, A, can gain a huge attack boost, and B, can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls. Why would you not run it? Next up, I run 1 Gaga Cowboy, a card that has really fallen out of the limelight here the last year or so. Gaga Cowboy is used primarily for a second ability to deal 800 burn damage to your opponent, just to ping him for that last little bit of damage for game, but its primary attack position ability is also useful as well, as if your opponent has monsters with 2900 or less attack on the field, they can get over any of their monsters. After that, I run 1 copy of Dagosto Emerald. Pretty self-explanatory, shuffles monsters back into the deck, and thus you draw a card. Pretty self-explanatory. The field controller is, of course, Lightning Chidori. This lets you essentially, get rid of cards your opponent has on the field. It doesn't destroy them, it just bounces them to the deck. But still, it gets them off the field, sort of to clear your way to, whatever you need to do. After that, I run a 106 Giant Hand. What this card does is you can detach 2 materials from this card to target 1 face-up effect monster your opponent controls. While this card's face-up on the field, that effect monster's effects are negated. Also, it cannot change its battle position. This is a really great card. I absolutely love this card. It's fucking amazing. It's one of, in my opinion, one of the top 10 best generic rank 4s out there. So, yeah. I might actually have to do a video about that. Maybe. I might actually do a video about that. But anyway, speaking of effect negation, we of course have Ice Beast Zero Fine. This is a fucking amazing card. What it does is once per turn, you detach a material from this card, negate all the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls, and if you do, this card gains 300 attack for each face-up card currently on the field except itself. And the changes last until your next standby phase. So not only is this card negating everything your opponent has face-up on the field, whether it be continuous spells, continuous traps, field spells, monster effects, it doesn't freaking matter. Pendulum spells, or pendulum monsters, it doesn't matter. All face-up cards on your opponent's field are negated, and then it gains a huge fucking attack boost. I love this card. It's really essential that if you're running a Harpie build, that you run this card. Next up, we have the boss monster of the deck, and that is Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. This card is pretty simple to understand why I have this in the deck at 2 copies. It stops your opponent from attacking your Harpies, stops your opponent from targeting your Harpies with card effects. The only thing that your Harpie monsters are susceptible to, got tongue-tied again, are board wipes like Dark Hole and Regeki. Next up, I run 1 copy of Silent Honor Arc. It's a really great card to have in the deck because it has built-in protection. It helps you get around your opponent's boss monsters that you just don't want on the field. And it's got a decent attack stat as well. It's a really great card. You really need to run this in Harpies. For the rank 7 lineup, well, I've got number 11 Big Eye because, like I said earlier, I'm an asshole. I like taking my opponent's shit and using it against them. You want proof? Go check out my Great Kaiju profile. Just saying. After that, we've got Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. Dracosac is really essential to have in the deck as well, as it has a built-in protection effect. It has a destruction effect. It has a nice little 2600 attack point body. This card is just all around amazing. Next up, I run 2 copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, again, because I'm a dick. I really love it when I go first, and I know my opponent is running something like, oh, I don't know, Zodiacs, or Fluffles, yes, Sam, Cox, that was directed at you, or, you know, anything that really needs to use a lot of effects to go off. Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon just punishes them, because for every effect or card that is activated, Red Eyes immediately deals 500 damage to your opponent. So they either have 2 choices. Either A, try to go on the defensive and not use their effects or until they can get this off the field, or B, go on the offensive and risk a lot of life point damage just to get over it. For the last card I run in the extra deck is All Eyes Absolute Dragon. Now it has a big old long effect, but the only effect that is useful in this deck, or that can be used in this deck, is that when any player's monster declares an attack, you can attach 1 material from this card. Now you might be saying, well, that's the exact, or 1 material from this card to negate that attack, and you might be saying that that's the same thing as number 39 Utopia, so why not just run that, as you obviously can make rank 4s easy, you can make rank 7s. Well, simple. If I need to go into F0, and all I have are rank 7s on the field, then I can use All Eyes Absolute Dragon to go into F0. But number 39 Utopia is a number monster, so just because it's a number monster, you can't use it for F0's effect. You know, so like I said, All Eyes Absolute Dragon gives me another rank 7 I can use to go into F0, and it does not count as a number monster, so it, in that respect, I can go into F0 with it as well. Now, I'm not going to go into the side deck too much. I run 2 Shuffle Reborns, a Book of Moon, 3 Forbidden Scriptures, 3 Spell Shouting Arrows, 3 Mind Crushes, and 3 Grand Horns. Now, the reason I'm not going into the side deck too much is because side decks change every format, or every time a new set is released, or a great tech card comes out, you know. So, siding just really depends on what's popular at the moment, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments in the section below. And if there's a deck profile you want to see up on my channel, just let me know what deck you want to see profiled, and I will happily do that profile for you. If you want me to profile your deck, get a hold of me on the Duelist Den Facebook page with a deck list of your deck, and I will gladly do a profile of it for you. But anyway, until next time, this is Harpie 189 and the voices in my head, signing off.
Take a shot at me, running side by side. It's a blur.